Hey, I got nothing to mention about. Antoine Daniels is an idiot. I don't care how much money he makes in real estate, but some of the things that come out of his mouth are just stupid. Okay, I've seen some of his shorts where people that have either, like, low incomes, he says, oh, well, poor people shouldn't have the right to have kids. Or, oh, if you're a parent, you should have to have a driver's license. Someone in a wheelchair literally commented they can't drive because they're in a wheelchair. And he's a rich guy or well off or whatever. He's got money. He has supposedly one child. She's, I think, in her 20s or whatever. And he says other people, unless they have money like he does, don't have the right to have children. Because if you can't drive, if you're poor, you don't have the right to have offspring. I don't know who the hell made him God. This proves one thing about my feelings about rich jerks. They're stupid. They don't understand anything. This guy's a moron. And I think that's how you pronounce his name, Antoine Daniels. I think he gets his IQ points probably off the label off the bottle of Jack Daniels. Because he's about as smart as a drunk. With statements like that, people watch this guy. And he's sitting there critiquing people that can't drive. Like a woman saying that she has a deaf kid and she doesn't have a driver's license, and the school's having trouble straightening about his transportation to get him to his school for the deaf. And he said, oh, well, you're failing as a parent because you don't have a driver's license. I don't have a driver's license. I mean, I have to walk places, and I got eyes and a freaking cane. And the other commenter in a wheelchair, I said, I agree with you. This idiot doesn't understand disabilities. Because most people he's shaming, some of them are handicapped in some way or special needs parents. I know I said I don't like single moms, with the exception of women like that, that are disabled or have some kind of handicap. And you can tell, by the way, the women he's critiqued, you can tell by their mannerisms, they're not playing with a full deck. And it's weird, like I said, I'm against single moms that are out of the club and not being responsible parents. And here's this lady who might not have the means for a car or might not be able to pass the driving test or something, but she's trying to do the right thing and get her special needs child his right to an education in Vegas. I don't know much about Vegas' school system, but I know around here when kids had to go to special handicapped schools, they would have a special Medicaid van pick these people up, because the neighborhood I lived in when I was growing up, there was a lady up the street. She was a little bit older than me, but at the time she went to a special school for autistic people, and they sent a special passenger van to come get her every morning. But like I said, they would have and her father, now he did drive, but he worked or whatever, and he was caring for his daughter. She was a teenager, I think or early 20s. But anyway, he sent her to a special needs service school type thing while he worked to take care of her. Adult daycare, whatever you want to call it. But this guy, Antoine Daniels, he's about as dumb as the landlord I don't like. Because he thinks people with disabilities shouldn't have the same God-given life rights as other people. And as someone who is disabled, who would love to have a wife and a child, who would really love to have that, I can't drive. I have to set my computer's text documents to Comic Sans. People like Antoine Daniels just really piss me off. He has this little crown icon, a little Burger King crown on his head in his profile picture. Well, I think he deserves it as the king of stupid. He acts like people... I mean, and knowing how hard it is to even get a special needs kid into a special program like this woman has to get her son into so he has an education. From someone who went to school in the 80s and 90s and got my ass kicked because I was special needs, I had to help another kid who was like this kid that she's probably describing off the bus who was deaf and wearing like a hearing apparatus. His name, I think, was Jeff, I think. And the bus driver would have me help him off because I was taller than him, and he had trouble with his balance and stuff. So the bus driver would have me help this other special needs kid off the special needs bus because he had trouble managing the stairs. I think his name was Jeff. I don't remember his name. It was something with a J. But I Jeff, might have been Jason. But I remember him because he wore this hearing aid contraption. And, my balance and I wore glasses by then too. My mobility was better than his. And he was very small and he could barely manage the steps because he was so small. He was smaller than me. But the fact that this idiot with the crown on his head, the king is stupid, acts like people that have handicaps or people that have, like I said, the kind of single mom I'm against is the kind that's out there making more kids than she could afford. Not this woman who, I mean, probably, we don't know her reasons for not having a driver's license. What if she can't pass the test? I mean, she wasn't wearing glasses or nothing, but it doesn't mean, what if she had, or what if she can't afford a car? These people are here in this very building that could probably pass the driver's test, but they don't have the money to afford a car. And I don't know what her financial situation is, but when I complained to the cop when I got in trouble for not going to mental health because I didn't have access to a car, he said driving is a privilege, not a right. Well, somebody ever tells the king is stupid that. Antoine Daniels, you must get your information about disability off the bottle of a Jack Daniels. Because you're the king of stupid. I think I'm going to unsubscribe to you because you're an idiot. I've met special needs people smarter than your dumb ass. That's why I hate rich people. Because they don't live in reality. And from being someone who grew up as a special needs child and got mistreated by my peers because I was special, I was handicapped. I'm still handicapped. And all the guys that beat me up, well, they were handicapped too, except they're all sitting in jail. People like this guy and this landlord I'm dealing with, they're disgusting. And I'm just going to say this, and I don't want to say this and that, but I do not mean this is a thing against black people. But Antoine Daniels and this landlord that I'm dealing with, this landlord, I mentioned her name, well, she's black too. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying all black people are like this. But my previous landlord, a 70-year-old Polish man that barely spoke English, could deal with mentally ill prostitutes, drug dealers, wife beaters, all the crap he dealt with in person. And this bozo doesn't even want to talk to me in the same room because I have schizophrenia and I'm not dangerous. I'm sorry, but... And I'm not saying this to sound racist. I'm not meaning it as a slang against black. I'm pretty sure there's some black people out there that are very intelligent when it comes to disabilities and know you can't turn them off. But Mr. Wealthy King is stupid. Antoine Daniels and this lady have that in common. They act like disabilities can be turned off like a switch. And I'm pretty sure there's white people out there that are just as stupid. I'm sorry, but if you believe a disability can be turned off like a switch, then you are an idiot.